Some of America's country music legends are George Jones, George Strait, Dolly Parton, and more recently, Taylor Swift. But one name that isn't mentioned is Vince Gill. Vince is known for his soulful voice, amazing guitar skills, and deeply emotional lyrics. He is undeniably one of the most talented and versatile artists in the genre, and he has won a lot of awards, including multiple Grammy and CMA awards, solidifying his place in country music history. But what really sets Vince apart is his ability to he combines traditional country with pop and bluegrass influences to make sounds that appeal to a wide range of people. But Vince's influence goes beyond his music. He is also known as one of the most respected and down-to-earth people in Nashville, and people admire him for being kind and humble. You may remember him for his timeless hit songs, like Go Rest High on That Mountain, and I Will Always Love You, or for his time as a member of the supergroup, the Time Jumpers. His legacy goes beyond music. Like many country artists, Vince has had both good and bad times in his career and personal life, especially when it comes to his health. In the past few years, Vince has had a couple of health problems that have left his fans worried and heartbroken, raising concerns about the legendary artist's well-being and that of his family. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into Vince Gill's life and look at all the problems that have come up with his health to deal with it over the years. Go Rest High on That Mountain was one of Vince Gill's biggest career problems, and it happened at a time when his popularity was at its peak, especially in 1995. If you were a true fan of Vince Gill, then his hit song Go Rest High on That Mountain must have been an anthem for a while. The song became an anthem for anyone dealing with loss, but not many people knew what was really going on in Vince's life at the time. The journey of Go Rest High on That Mountain began with Vince's close friend and fellow musician Keith Whitley's death in 1989 from alcohol poisoning. Keith Whitley was a talented country singer, known for his deep voice and emotional songs. He was born in Kentucky in 1955 and became famous in the 1980s with hits like Don't Close Your Eyes and I'm No Stranger to the Rain. His music was loved by many because it felt like life. Vince tried to write the song while he was grieving, but the emotions were too raw to put into words. It wasn't until 1993, after the death of his brother Bob, that Vince revisited the song. Vince's brother Bob Gill was also an important part of his life. Bob was a musician, and the two of them were close. Sadly, Bob died after a long battle with cancer, so this time Vince's sadness and love for both men came out, and the song became a tribute to both Keith and Bob's lives, and the mark they left on Vince's heart. When the song came out in 1995, it touched a nerve with many people around the world. Its heartfelt lyrics and emotional depth spoke to people who were going through the pain of loss. Even now, Vince's performances of the song are very moving, and his voice often shakes as he connects to the memories of his loved ones. Through this piece, Vince doesn't just share his grief, he also invites others to feel their own and find comfort in the music. The story behind Vince Gill's song Go Rest High on That Mountain is very personal and has a lot to do with his own losses. His music shows these experiences, like the pain of his parents splitting up when he was a teenager, which has left a lasting impression on him. To fully understand his music and who Vince Gill is, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. His life began on April 12, 1957, in Norman, Oklahoma, where he was born into a family that loved music. Vince Gill grew up with a lot of melodies and talent that helped him start his career in country music. His dad Stan was a judge and loved playing the guitar and banjo, which he taught his kids. His mum Jen sang beautifully and played the harmonica. Well, so the family was like a small band. Music was a big deal in the Gill home. They'd gather around the radio to listen to oldies, and the new wave of rock and roll artists that were taking over the country at the time. With Vince's musical background, it didn't take long for his natural talent to shine. When he was only 5, he started playing his grandmother's guitar, and quickly learned the classic song Old Shep. Soon after, he and his brother had gotten so good that they were asked to perform their own version of Long Tall Texan on a local radio show. Seeing Vince's talent, his dad Stan stepped in to help him grow and set him up with guitar lessons with local guitarist J. Julian Atkins. Vince was Allen, and his love for the guitar exploded right away. He even took his guitar to school for show and tell, and would play the House of the Rising Sun to entertain the kids. But Vince wasn't just into the guitar. He also learned to play other instruments, like the fiddle, banjo, mandolin, and bass guitar, which gave him the versatility that would later define his music and allow him to break the mold of traditional country music. Vince became interested in bluegrass music after making friends with the son of a friend of his father. Vince loved bluegrass music and played the mandolin. His interest in the music grew so much that after high school, he decided to become a bluegrass performer. He started his own bluegrass band called Mountain Smoke and got a gig opening for hard rock legends Kiss. However, the crowd wasn't feeling the bluegrass vibe and started booing and throwing things at the stage. Young Vince, who never gave up, responded by flipping the bird and leaving the stage. After Mountain Smoke broke up, Vince moved to Kentucky and decided to get deeper into bluegrass by joining top bands like Bluegrass Alliance and Boone Creek, where he got to play with the legendary Ricky Skaggs. These years were important for Vince, because they gave him a chance to improve his skills and really get into the spirit of early bluegrass. By 1976, Vince was ready for a new adventure and packed his bags for at one point. He moved to Los Angeles and joined fiddle player Byron Berlin's backing band for a short time. This gave him a taste of the West Coast music scene and helped him improve his skills. In 1978, Gill joined the band Pure Prayer League as a guitarist and vocalist. He was on their 1979 album Can't Hold Back and wrote several songs for it, while Gill was lead singer. The band had a top 10 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 with Let Me Love You Tonight. During his time with Pure Prairie League and his work with Rodney Crowell, he wrote the follow-up song I'm Almost Ready and contributed 5 other tracks to the album Fire Up. Joe Vivian from AllMusic praised Gill's work, pointing out that the album's sound blended country pop and adult contemporary influences, which was different from his later works. Even though Fire Up was a big hit, Gill was ready for a change. Because his wife Janice was expecting their first child, and Vince was busy with work. Vince left the band in 1982 to focus on his solo career. In the early days of his solo journey, he went to Nashville and struggled to find his place in the Nashville music scene. It was a frustrating time because his songs weren't getting the attention they deserved, but he found support in his friendships, especially with producer Barry Beckett. The turning point came when Barry decided to cut Vince's songs, which made RCA unhappy because they didn't know that Lonely would become a hit. Vince's rise as a solo artist began. But what really made him a great songwriter wasn't the awards or the famous collaborations. It was the years he spent writing songs that often didn't work, and learning the craft by doing. It took a while, he admits, because while people liked his playing and singing, his songwriting skills took a while to get the credit they deserved. He learned to pay attention to the details and pick each word carefully. Guy Clark taught him that every word. Vince's big break came with the song When I Call Your Name, which helped him get more attention. But even with that success, Gill didn't feel any different. What changed his life the most was being recognized by his peers and welcomed into the club of successful musicians. Vince's idea of making it was deeply rooted in the quality of musicians he worked with, from bluegrass legends to session veterans. For him, it wasn't about the fame or the number of records sold. It was about the musicians, the people he got to play with in the Time Jumpers show how dedicated he is to growth. He saw joining the band as a way to push himself as a musician, to play with people who could challenge him and make him better. He was told early on not to be the best musician in the band, and he's kept that advice with him throughout his career. Even at the height of his own success, Vince was still learning, growing, and being pushed outside of his comfort zone. His comfort zone. One of his most memorable moments was when he was asked to sing Surf's Up at a tribute concert to Brian Wilson. The song pushed his vocal range and musical skills to the limit, but with hard work and persistence, Vince not only pulled it off, but also impressed some of his fans along the way. As I walked off stage that night, Brian Wilson shook my hand. Vince said, "It's clear that times when he was pushed beyond his limits were just as important to him as any other, through all of his highs and lows." Vince Gill has stayed true to the music itself. He doesn't let his success define him as an artist. Instead, he focuses on the song, the performance, and making music that connects with others. It doesn't matter if he is playing in a session, performing on stage, or writing in the studio. Vince has always learned to approach his craft with a consistent commitment to being the best musician he can be, without letting the pressure of success get in the way. Vince talked about his time in country music and the special moments in his career in an interview. He said that even though a lot of people know him as a country singer, he has always appreciated the work that goes into making music happen more. One of his proudest moments was when he performed at a festival with some of his musical idols, like Joe Walsh and James Taylor. Vince remembered that the crowd didn't know him very well at first, but when he played solo, they did. People stopped and went back to their seats, impressed by his performance. He also talked about working with famous musician John Wee, who was known for playing the steel guitar. Vince asked John to join his band when John was just starting out. John, who had played with country star Conway Twitty, loved working with Vince because he gave him freedom and respect. Vince said that John was treated like royalty in the band, and that their time together was unforgettable. Vince also talked about his life. Vince talked about how honored he was when the Eagles asked him to join after Glenn Frey's death, especially since he and the band had become friends over the years. He talked about working with Glenn Frey and other Eagles members in the past and how much it meant to him that they asked him to be a part of their legacy after such a tragic loss. By doing this, Vince shows how much he values the people he works with and how important relationships and respect are. Throughout his career, Vince Gill fought against letting his country roots limit him to a certain style of music. His work with the Pure Prairie League and the Eagles proved that he could handle almost any musical style. This fearless approach to collaboration has only added to his reputation as one of the most versatile artists out there. She said that Vince's unique role as a bridge between country legends and the genre's up-and-coming stars was impressive. That wasn't all. Jeffrey B.S. of the country magazine Standard Time also said that Vince was a great singer with a strong tenor voice and an amazing guitarist, whose skills are on par with those of Stella Rems. Rems also praised Vince's live performances, where he often plays for up to 3 hours, which shows how dedicated and loving he is to his craft. Vince Gill's long performances are often compared to those of other legendary artists, who were known for their dedication to the stage such as Bruce Springsteen, whose concerts can last for more than 3 hours, and Willie Nelson, whose music has connected with fans for decades. Gill's shows show his passion and respect for his audience. His long performances show a love for storytelling and a strong connection with fans, blending the traditions of classic country legends. Many artists stick to shorter sets, but Gill's style stands out as a reminder of a time when concerts were about making unforgettable experiences. Vince Gill's musical influences are as varied as his talents. He once called Merle Haggard the greatest singer and poet in the world, which shows how much the country legend influenced his work. But Vince didn't stop there. He also got ideas from Paddy Clean, Kitty Wells, and Bruce Springsteen. Merle Haggard's music has a lot of emotional depth and the ability to tell a story. Like Haggard, Vince has a special way of capturing raw emotions, like heartache, love, or hope in his songs. His smooth tenor voice and thoughtful lyrics have that timeless quality that made legends, like Paddy Clean and Kitty Wells, so memorable. Vince shares their knack for putting heartfelt emotion into every lyric, making a deep connection with listeners at the same time. Bruce Springsteen and John Fogerty have the same amount of energy and creativity. Like Springsteen, Vince's songs are real and relatable, and they also have a bit of excitement and variety, like Fogerty's dynamic style. This mix of emotional depth and high energy makes Vince's work stand out, while also honoring the artists who came before him and shaped him. When it comes to writing songs, Vince looks up to Hank Williams's simple lyrics. According to author Joe Scitto, Vince's albums often have more self-written songs than those of many of his peers. This shows how good he is at telling stories and being creative. This is even more clear in his hits, like Go Rest High on That Mountain, where his emotional delivery and heartfelt lyrics connect deeply with listeners. Other hits, like I Still Believe in You and Whenever You Come Around, also show how good he is at writing simple but powerful lyrics, like Hank Williams. Vince is very good at writing songs that connect with people on a personal level. This shows how versatile and talented he is as a songwriter. Vince's talent and kindness have also been noticed by other musicians. For example, Jason S., who toured with Vince in the late 1990s, has talked about how helpful Vince was as a mentor. Meanwhile, country and bluegrass artist Charlie Worsham says that Vince's song Liza Jane was one of the first songs he ever learned to play. In 2018, Vince went the extra mile by gifting Worsham a custom-made guitar. This is just one example of how he's not only an icon in the music world, but also a guiding light for the next generation. Vince's kindness as a mentor and collaborator may have come from the musicians who inspired him. Legends like Merle Haggard and Paddy Clean were known not only for their incredible talent, but also for being honest and humble, which must have set an example for Vince. His respect for these icons combined with his commitment to helping others may have led him to be so generous. Country and bluegrass music inspired Vince Gill to write about his own struggles, but his story isn't just about music. His songs are about strength and deep emotion. Many of them deal with loss, love, and healing. Worlds Apart, from his 1996 album High Lonesome Sound, is a great example. In it, Vince thinks about the emotional distance between two people who are feeling separated and longing for each other. It also talks about the pain of losing someone. Going Rest High on That Mountain, Worlds Apart shows Vince's skill at expressing deep emotional pain while also capturing the hope of eventual healing. Another song, When I Call Your Name, is about the heartbreak of a lost relationship and shows his skill at connecting personal grief with universal emotions. Vince Gill's musical catalog goes even further than these songs. because he has many more to explore in the depths of human emotion. His 1995 album, When Love, with songs like Maybe I'm Crazy and I Still Believe in You. Vince's honest storytelling takes center stage. These songs give fans a look into Vince's world, where love is messy, the future is uncertain, and the heart struggles with loss. Fans have found comfort in these songs, feeling understood in their own love and heartbreak stories. One standout track from the album, What's He Doing in My World, tells the story of a woman's sadness and loneliness after her husband leaves her. Thoughtful and empathetic, Vince carefully captures the main character's feelings. Even in his happier songs, like One More Last Chance, there's a sadness that reminds us that happiness can be short. Vince's music is unique because it can balance joy and sadness, creating a rich, layered sound that deeply resonates with listeners. Life isn't easy, and Vince's songs beautifully reflect the full range of human experience. Both deeply personal and universally relatable. His lyrics have an amazing way of tapping into people's deepest emotions and life experiences, especially those who have been through loss or heartbreak. Vince's songs speak directly to the soul, expressing feelings that are often hard to put into words. For Vince, music has been a powerful way to deal with his problems, letting him turn his own heartache, family problems, and personal losses into songs that comfort not only him, but also many others. Music has the power to change our lives, to heal us, and to make us feel less alone. On a personal level, Vince Gill's life has been full of both successes and failures. He has dealt with the difficulties of personal relationships, including a marriage to fellow musician Janice Oliver that ended in divorce in 1997, due to the demands of fame and their busy schedules. Despite these problems, Vince has continued to use his experiences to create a body of work that is both private and well known to everyone. Vince Gill's personal life has been full of both triumph and tragedy. After his first marriage ended, he had to deal with the difficulties of co-parenting and face his own weaknesses. This time of change can be seen in his music, where he wrote about heartache, regret, and self-discovery. His honest and emotionally raw lyrics connected with fans and helped those going through similar struggles. After Vince married Christian music legend Amy Grant in 2000, his story took a happier turn. Amy Grant is a famous singer and songwriter, especially in the Christian music world. She became famous in the 1980s with hits like Baby Baby and El Shy. Her music has touched millions of people by combining pop and Christian themes in a way that made her one of the most successful Christian music artists of all time. Amy's faith and dedication to her music have always been at the center of her work. Early in her career, Amy's relationship with Vince brought together two strong voices in music, each with their own loyal fanbase. The two quickly became a beloved couple in the entertainment world. Their marriage wasn't just a personal milestone, but also a sign of love and healing for both of them. Before they met, Vince and Amy had both been through a lot of personal struggles and loss. Amy had been married to singer Gary Chapman before she met Vince, and the two had a strong connection based on that. They blended their families and found strength in their relationship by being honest about their problems and their faith. In interviews, they've often talked about how their love of music and their strong faith connection helped them grow closer as a couple and as collaborators. Their relationship has inspired many fans and continues to stand as an example of second chances and finding love after a breakup. Their union began a new era of stability, happiness, and love. Vince says that Amy has been there for him through all of life's challenges. Together, they blended their families, making a loving home that became a source of inspiration for Vince. Music, which is full of themes of healing, joy, and gratitude. Their musical collaborations, like the hit duet House of Love, show how well they get along with each other. During a particularly hard time in 2018, Vince battled kidney stones, which led to a severe kidney infection, excruciating pain, and hospitalization. As a result, several performances were cancelled, including a much-anticipated appearance at the CMA Awards. In addition to the severe pain Vince felt during his kidney stone episode in 2018, the health scare caused unexpected complications. The kidney infection required surgery, and the recovery was long and difficult. Vince had to cancel several concerts, which was hard for him because he loved performing and connecting with his fans. During this time, he also stepped back from the public eye to focus on his health, giving himself time to rest and recover. His medical team continued to care for him, and Vince made sure to follow a strict routine to manage his condition. While kidney stones are common, the infection was much worse than he had first thought. Vince's wife, the famous Christian singer Amy Grant, also had a health scare that changed her life in 2022. She was in a serious bike accident that knocked her out for about 10 minutes and gave her a concussion. The trauma of the accident not only hurt her physically, but also caused a cyst to form in her throat that had to be surgically removed. She had to take time off to recover, which meant Vince had to postpone his fall tour to help Amy through this difficult time. Time added more emotional stress, but it also strengthened the couple's bond and ability to deal with health crises. In 2012, Vince was diagnosed with a congenital heart condition that affects the flow of blood from his lungs to his heart. This was a serious health concern for both him and his fans, and he had to face it with amazing courage and strength. He made the necessary changes to his lifestyle and sought expert medical care, stressing the importance of self-care and listening to his body. Through these personal and family health problems, Vince and Amy have shown incredible strength by supporting each other as they go through their health journeys together. Vince Gill's life story and the lasting impact he had on country music are truly amazing. His contributions continue to inspire fans and fellow musicians alike. Thanks for watching.